Walk into any tackle shop as a beginner and you'll leave $200 later wondering if you even bought the right stuff. You probably didn't. The fishing industry sells beginners the idea that more gear equals more fish. That's the scam. It's never been true. 40 million Americans fish freshwater every year. Most of the ones catching big fish aren't using $40 lures or $500 rods. One guy put it perfectly: bass fishing doesn't need to look like a tackle commercial. You don't need 20 rods or a boat that sounds like it's late for work. Here's what actually happens. Beginners buy too much. Half their gear never touches water and the other half just gets in the way. A solid beginner setup costs around $300 total. Rod, reel, line, lures, terminal tackle, the works. That's it. Start with a 6.5 to 7 foot medium power rod. That length hits the sweet spot between casting distance and actual control. Pair it with a 2500 to 3000 size spinning reel. Smooth drag is everything. That's what protects your line when a big fish runs. Real quick, my name is Jake Watson. I have been an angler for over 20 years, ever since I was a little kid when my father used to take me fishing. I have dedicated this channel to helping share my passion with like-minded anglers like me, as I plan to reveal every secret there is about fishing, taking it from a game of luck to an actual skill set. So it would mean a lot if you could like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Anyways, let's continue. For line, beginners should start with monofilament, 6 to 10 pound test. It's forgiving, easy to tie, and cast clean off the spool. Berkley Trilene XL runs about $25 a spool. That's a full season of fishing for the price of one fancy lunch. Now, lures, you need 3. Not 30, 3. Everything else is marketing dressed up as fishing advice. First is the stick bait, a Senko-style worm and green pumpkin. Cast near cover, let it fall on slack line, and wait for that shimmy to do the work. Use a wacky hook with an O-ring and each worm survives 3 or 4 fish instead of 1. That's real money saved over a season. Second lure is a square bill crankbait. Throw it along rocks, docks, and laydowns. When it deflects off something, pause, that's when fish strike. Third is a hollow body frog for thick grass and lily pads. Trim the legs half an inch shorter and it walks easier, turning more strikes into hookups. That's your whole arsenal. 3 lures covering open water, heavy cover, and the surface. Most tournament anglers win on less variety than that. Terminal tackle matters more than beginners realize. Tungsten weights, 97% pure, give you better feel than lead and take up less space on the rig. Barrel swivels stop line twist when you're running spinners. Use snaps only for quick lure swaps, never on finesse rigs where they kill the action. The 3 rigs worth learning are the Texas rig for heavy cover, the Carolina rig for open water, and the wacky rig for stick baits. Master those first, timing matters too. Summer mornings before 8 and evenings after 6 are when bass feed aggressively. Midday heat pushes them deep and quiet. Overcast days are underrated. Cloud cover makes fish bolder and more active near the surface. Rain cools the water and triggers feeding. A simple setup teaches you more about how bass actually behave than a trunk full of glittery gadgets ever will. That's not an opinion, it's just experience talking. The goal was never to look like you know what you're doing. It's to actually know. 3 lures, 1 solid combo, and time on the water gets you there. Line memory is a real problem nobody warned you about. If your mono's coiling off the spool, tie it to a tree, walk back 25 yards, and pull it taut. That tension relaxes the coils and the line casts clean again. Old trick, still works, costs nothing. Gear ratio is something beginners skip over entirely. A 5.2 to 6.2 to 1 ratio is the sweet spot, fast enough for bass. Forgiving enough to learn on. Go too fast and you'll burn through a retrieve before the fish even decides. Mid-range keeps you in the zone longer. Fill your spool to about 1/16 of an inch below the rim. Too full and you get loops. Too low and your cast dies halfway to the target. The Ugly Stick GX2 is nearly unbreakable and runs under $60. The same. Croy Bass X costs more, but gives you real feedback through the blank. Either one will last years if you rinse it after use and don't slam it in a car door. That's the full maintenance plan. The Okuma Seimar A has an anti-reverse switch that beginners actually appreciate. It stops the handle from spinning backward when a fish surges, saves a lot of frustration. Fluorocarbon line is worth knowing about, even if you're not ready for it yet. It sinks, it's nearly invisible underwater, and it transmits feel better than mono. Seaguar Red Label is the standard recommendation when you make that jump, but mono first, always mono first. Braided line is a different animal entirely. Zero stretch, maximum sensitivity, and it'll cut your finger if you're not careful pulling a snag free. Braid shines in heavy grass and frog fishing, exactly where mono would snap and fluorocarbon would fray. It's a tool for specific situations, not a replacement. Spring and fall are when bass feed most aggressively. Spawning season in spring means fish are territorial and will strike out of instinct, not just hunger. Winter fishing isn't dead, it's just slower. Bass metabolism drops, so slow you retrieve down to almost nothing. Afternoon warmth is your window. Reading water is the skill that separates people who catch fish from people who just cast. Structure holds fish, points, drop-offs, submerged timber, dock shadows. A fish finder isn't necessary when you're starting out. Your eyes and a good pair of polarized sunglasses will show you more than you'd expect. Hooking a fish and landing a fish are two completely different events. A lot of beginners lose good fish during the fight because they reel against a running fish. When a fish runs, let the drag do its job. Keep the rod up, maintain pressure, and don't horse it. The drag is there for exactly this moment. Presentation speed matters more than lure color in most situations. Bigger fish spook easily, a slow, deliberate retrieve gets more strikes than a frantic one. A net is worth carrying. Trying to lip a big bass while standing on a slippery bank is how good fish get dropped and good days turn bad fast. Needle nose pliers are non-negotiable. Hook removal without them is slow, messy, and occasionally painful. A $10 pair lasts a decade. A fishing license runs about $20 in most states. It's not optional, and game wardens do check. Don't let a $40 fine ruin a free morning. The whole system works because it's honest. Simple gear, proven rigs, real timing, and enough patience to let the water tell you something. That's the actual edge. Knot strength is the one thing that actually stands between you and losing a good fish. A bad knot fails at the worst possible moment every single time. The Palomar knot is where you start. Double the line, loop it through the eye, tie an overhand, pass the hook through the loop. Done. Holds near 100%. Wet the knot before you cinch it. Dry friction burns mono and weakens the line right at the point where it matters most. One small habit. Real difference. An inline spinner is worth adding as a fourth lure, especially for beginners. It teaches you what a strike actually feels like before you've developed any sensitivity at all. Cast it across current, let it swing, reel slow, the blade vibrates the whole way back. When something interrupts that vibration, that's your fish. Color matters less than most people think. Bass see contrast more than specific hues. Natural tones in clear water, darker or chartreuse in murky, that's the whole color theory. Wind direction is something experienced anglers watch closely. Fish tend to stack on the windward bank, bait fish get pushed there, and bass follow the food. A tackle backpack beats a hard tackle box for bank fishing. You're moving, covering water, and a box just becomes dead weight after the first half mile. Keep your tackle organized by rig type, not lure type. Texas rig stuff in one pouch, wacky rig in another. You'll spend less time digging and more time fishing. Sun protection is genuinely underrated. A up 50 shirt and polarized glasses aren't luxury items, they're the difference between 2 hours and a full day on the water. Polarized lenses cut the surface glare and let you see into the water column. You'll spot fish, structure, and depth changes that other anglers walk right past. A small first aid kit and a hook removal tool belong in the bag. Hooks go into fingers more than fish some days. Be ready for it. Catch and release done right means keeping the fish horizontal and wet. Vertical holds by the jaw stress the spine on bigger bass. 30 seconds out of water is the limit. Revive the fish before you let go. Hold it upright in the water. Move it gently forward and back until it kicks out of your hands on its own terms. Local fishing reports from your state's Department of Natural Resources are free and genuinely useful. They'll tell you what's biting, where, and on what, updated weekly in most states. Talking to people at the boat ramp is underrated intelligence gathering. Someone who fished that water yesterday will tell you more than any YouTube video ever could. Local tackle shops are worth visiting even if you buy nothing. The person behind the counter fishes that water constantly and usually has no reason to steer you wrong. Keep a simple log, date, weather, water temp, what worked. After a full season, patterns emerge that no article can give you. Your own data beats everyone else's advice. Water temperature is the single most reliable predictor of bass behavior. A cheap thermometer tells you more than a $100 fish finder in most bank fishing situations. 55 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit is the feeding window most bass anglers chase. Below 50, everything slows. Above 75, fish go deep and get selective. The gear conversation eventually ends and the fishing conversation begins. That shift happens when you stop thinking about what's in your bag and start thinking about what's in the water. Nobody remembers the rod they used on their best day. They remember the fish, the light, and who was standing next to them. That's what you're actually out there for. Hook sets are something beginners rush. The instinct is to yank the moment you feel anything, but with a frog, you wait 1 full second before sweeping the rod. That 1 second delay lets the fish close its mouth around the bait. Set too early and you pull it clean out every time. Circle hooks are worth knowing about for live bait situations. They roll into the corner of the mouth on their own, no hard hook set needed. Just steady pressure. The Gamakatsu Octopus Circle is sharp straight out of the pack. That matters more than most people realize. A dull hook loses fish before the fight even starts. Lew's Laser SG1 is worth mentioning alongside the Ugly Stick. It's a cleaner feel, more feedback through the blank, and still under $80. The Monster Bass Tungsten Pro Pack bundles weights, stops, beads, and swivels together. For beginners, buying it as a kit beats hunting individual components across 3 different aisles. Fishing clubs are genuinely underused. Most counties have one, dues run cheap, and the collective knowledge inside that room took decades to accumulate. The AFTCO Samurai shirt runs up 50 and dries fast. It sounds like a luxury until you've spent 6 hours in direct sun without one. A packable rain jacket belongs in the bag year-round. Weather changes faster than forecasts, and a wet angler packs up early every time. The Urban Angler backpack has a built-in rod holder and a hydration sleeve. Small details, but they matter when you're covering 2 miles of bank on foot. Assorted hooks from size 6 to 2 cover trout, pike, and bass without needing separate purchases. One small pack handles most freshwater situations. Spinning reels account for over 55% of global reel sales. There's a reason, they're forgiving, versatile, and the right call for nearly every beginner situation. The invisible reel idea is real. When the drag is smooth and the weight is right, you stop thinking about the equipment and start reading the water. 80% of tournament anglers use artificial lures. The fish aren't impressed by price tags, they respond to action, depth, and timing. Everything else is noise the industry sells you to feel better about not catching fish. The fish don't know what your rod costs. They know if your presentation is right, your timing is honest, and your patience held longer than theirs did. If this saved you money or put fish in your hands, share it with someone just starting out. That's the whole point. Pass it on.